In the heart of the African savanna, where the sun dipped into the horizon and painted the sky with hues of crimson and gold, there lived a young boy named Ibuka. He was a skilled hunter, just like his father and grandfather before him. With his trusty bow and quiver full of arrows, Ibuka would venture into the bush, returning with fresh meat for his family's dinner. But fate had other plans. One day, while chasing after a swift antelope, Ibuka tripped and fell, landing awkwardly on a sharp stick. The stick pierced his eye socket, leaving him writhing in agony. The pain was excruciating, and Ibuka's world went dark. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Ibuka's eyes never fully recovered, and his passion for hunting dwindled. He became withdrawn, spending most of his days lounging in the shade, feeling sorry for himself. His brother Okonkwo, who had always assisted him on hunting trips, tried to encourage Ibuka to find a new passion, but he refused. Tragedy struck again when Okonkwo fell ill and passed away, leaving Ibuka alone and adrift. With no one to turn to, Ibuka's life spiraled out of control. He began stealing from neighbors, committing petty crimes and feigning innocence when confronted. His once promising life had devolved into a circle of dishonesty and laziness. Ibuka's charm and good looks often got him out of trouble, but deep down, he knew he was lost. He was trapped in a web of his own deceits, and the guilt was eating away at him. He would lie awake at night, haunted by the memories of his past, wondering how he had fallen so far. Ibuka's life was slowly getting out of hand. One day, he decided to visit the village market to buy a chicken. As he walked through the stores, he came across a beautiful hen with shiny feathers and bright eyes. He couldn't resist the urge to buy her. Excited about his new purchase, Ibuka announced to the entire community that he had bought a hen. He carried the hen proudly on his shoulders, showing her off to everyone he met. "I have bought a hen," he exclaimed. "She's going to lay eggs for me and start my poultry farm." The villagers congratulated him on his new venture, and soon everyone knew about Ibuka's hen. But as time passed, he started to crave more, and his desire for other people's hen became too strong to resist. One night, under the cover of darkness, Ibuka snuck into his neighbor's house and stole a hen. The next day, when confronted by the neighbor, Ibuka calmly replied, "But this is my hen, the one I bought at the market." The neighbor was confused, but Ibuka's charm and confidence convinced him that he was telling the truth. This became a pattern. Ibuka would steal hens from different people, and when caught, he would claim that it was his original hen. The villagers were baffled, wondering how Ibuka's hen could be in so many places at once. As the days went by, Ibuka's reputation began to suffer. People started to whisper among themselves. Ibuka's hen became a synonym for thievery. But Ibuka didn't care. He was addicted to the thrill of stealing and the ease of getting away with it. Ibuka's trouble seemed to follow him everywhere. After he realized the hen would soon expose him, he turned his attention to his brother's wife, Mori. Mori worked hard to make ends meet, selling snuff at the market to care for her children since her husband's passing. But every time she left some snuff at home, he would steal it all, leaving nothing behind. Mori confronted Ibuka multiple times, but he denied any wrongdoing, sometimes even getting angry and defensive. She couldn't understand why her brother-in-law would stoop so low as to steal from her, especially when she was working so hard to provide for her children. One day, Mori had had enough. She decided to set a trap for the snuff thief. She bought some pepper, dried it for days, and then ground it into a fine powder. She She mixed the pepper powder with a small amount of snuff and placed it in the container, waiting for the thief to strike again. When Mori left for the market, Ebuka saw his chance. He snuck into the house and made a beeline for the snuff container. He inserted the snuff into his nose, as was the custom, but immediately began coughing and shouting, "Warrior has killed me! Warrior has killed me!" People nearby heard Ebuka's cries and rushed to his aid, but he couldn't explain what was wrong. He was too busy coughing and sputtering to speak. The people were confused, wondering what would have caused Ebuka's sudden distress. Meanwhile, Mori was at the market, selling her snuff and going about her day. But when people came to inform her that her brother-in-law was about to die and was calling her name, she couldn't help but laugh. She knew exactly what had happened. When Mori arrived at the scene, she found Ebuka still coughing and sputtering. She asked what was wrong, but he couldn't say anything. His throat was still burning from the pepper powder. Mori just laughed and laughed, tears streaming down her face. Finally, Ebuka managed to croak out an explanation. "Mori, I didn't know it was pepper." Mori's laughter grew even louder. "You should have thought of that before you stole from me, Ebuka," she exclaimed. "Now, you will think twice before stealing from me again." The villagers gathered around, enjoying the spectacle. They had all been victims of Ebuka's thievery at one point or another, and it was satisfying to see him get his reward. As Ebuka slunk away, defeated and embarrassed, Mori turned to the villagers and said, "Let this be a lesson to all of you. If you steal from me, you will face the consequences." From that day on, Ebuka never stole from Mori again. He learned his lesson the hard way, but he learned it nonetheless. And Mori continued to sell her snuff, her business thriving now that she had found a way to protect herself from thieves.